Money FM 89.3, the best of the afternoon update. The afternoon update with Lynlee Fu.
Money FM 89.3. Welcome to Good Tech, the segment where we explore how technology is driving positive change in the world, solving urgent challenges, and creating a better future for individuals and communities. I'm your host, Lynlee, and today we're exploring how data, one of the most powerful tools of our time, is being harnessed to support social impact. Now, while data drives business and government decisions every day, its potential in the non-profit world is still just beginning to be tapped. Well, there's a new initiative that's helping charities build the skills, tools, and confidence to use data in service of their missions. It's called the Data for Good Exchange. Global media and financial data and analytics conglomerate Bloomberg is behind the program to help charities unlock the power of data to drive greater social impact right here in Singapore. Joining me is Vandna Ramchandani, Bloomberg's regional head of corporate philanthropy for Asia Pacific. She's here to talk about the launch of Bloomberg's Data for Good Exchange program. Welcome, Vandna.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now, to kick things off, could you tell us about the Data for Good Exchange? What is it and why bring it to Singapore now?
Absolutely. As you may or may not be aware, Mike Bloomberg has committed the vast majority of Bloomberg's profits to Bloomberg Philanthropies, and over his lifetime, he's given away more than $21 billion so far. You correctly said Bloomberg is a global leader in business information and data. So for us, data is core. And we really believe that if you can face it, you can understand it and leverage it. So we've taken everything we've learned from our business and we've put it into our philanthropic efforts, right? We believe, like you said, data can unlock opportunity and drive progress towards communities' biggest challenges. So when we spoke to our local partners in Singapore over the last couple of years, they helped us identify some gaps in the social sector. Again, you were just talking about this, about how data is really being leveraged in the government and in the corporate sector and can really be a major potential for the social sector. So exactly that. They said there's a limited culture of using data to learn and make decisions in the community and social sector. They said that charities actually suffer from lack of time and training. Also donor resourcing to support data use in a meaningful manner. And honestly, there's a lack of practical, user-friendly tools and processes to make data easy to manage, right? I mean, if you're not facing it every day and you don't have that acumen, it can be quite intimidating. So we launched D4GX, so Data for Good Exchange, in New York in 2014, brought it to India subsequently in 2019, learned a lot from those initiatives. New York was more a thought leadership. India was really not as robust as we are planning to do here. Took all of that, and we thought this was a momentous year for Singapore. It marks SG60 as our young nation celebrates its 60th anniversary, and Bloomberg celebrates its 35th year in Singapore. So we thought, we could kind of help address this critical gap in the social sector by promoting the power of data to supercharge it. So the main objective here is to elevate and empower the charities across Singapore to use data more effectively, to strengthen their operations, their strategy, to innovate, to maximize their impact. We also think it aligns beautifully with Singapore's Smart Nation initiative, our Forward SG initiative.
Yeah, it's really powerful, Vandna, supporting non-profits because of this growing demand for data capabilities. I understand that 6 charities are receiving $60,000 each, along with access to Bloomberg's world-class data expertise. So I want to know, how were these charities selected and what kinds of challenges would they be looking to solve with data?
Yeah, sure. So for D4GX 2025 cohort, we're actually, correctly, as you said, aiming to do 6 charities ultimately, but we're actually selecting a cohort of 60 charities, and they don't need to be data experts at all. They just need to demonstrate a genuine commitment to data transformation, right? We're not looking for people who have leveraged data to an advanced level. We know that charities are at different stages of their data journey, and we want to meet them where they are, right? So whether they're a startup or an established organization, we aim to support them by providing relevant skills and creating learning journeys and events to match where they're at. Mm-hmm. They'll be able to choose from workshops like understanding data visualization, using data to tell compelling stories. The program will have a summit. It'll have a grant, like you said, $60,000 for 6 charities of the 60. Mm-hmm. They'll have an accelerator program. I think that accelerator program is really key because it will include 3 months of mentorship to support the implementation of the data strategy. So they'll get the $60,000 grant from Bloomberg, but they'll also get the mentorship, because I think embedding that learning and supporting the building of the acumen is very important, right? So, I mean, you said, what will they gain? They'll gain leveraging data, gleaning insights to strengthen their operations. They'll learn to communicate their impact with more data and purpose. They will build skills for the community, and we'll do this not only from Bloomberg, but we'll bring in industry leaders and data experts. And of course, as you said, they will get access to financial support of $60,000 each for the 6 charities.
That's just fantastic, because many of us, nonprofits and individuals alike, we know that data is important, but often we don't have the resources or know how to use it effectively. Now you have training, mentoring, access to all sorts of things and tools to measure impact. Wow, that's just incredible. Vandna, can you share an example of how this program has worked elsewhere? You mentioned New York and India earlier. Perhaps a success story from one of these places.
Yes, sure. So I think I'll come to India, and and then I actually have one for Singapore as well, because we've been trialing something. So I'll share that with you as well. So generally, right, I think it's hard for charities to identify which programs are most effective or where they can allocate resources efficiently or how they can set realistic goals, right? So it really becomes like a roadmap towards the future while avoiding potential pitfalls. So one of the things I want to talk about in India is we had a couple of charities actually who, we were giving out grants, but what they said to us that the maximum they got out of it was actually through the mentorship, because what they learned about data visualization, they came with a problem, they shared it with our colleagues, they thought they had, an amazing communication plan, but they hadn't embedded data to tell a compelling story. And the way the data visualization worked with our team, they actually walked away with a completely different communication plan. And I think that is like a very simple way, right? Embracing data and technology to open up new avenues for engagement and outreach, right? It can be, and then they leverage it for social media, for online campaigns, to spread awareness, to rally support, right? Reaching a much wider audience to share their stories and ultimately create greater impact. And, in Singapore, for example, and I don't want to dwell on it too much, 2 weeks ago, we hosted a data storytelling workshop here with one of our partners who are actually our partners for D4GX in Singapore Talent Trust. Mm-hmm. And we thought, we'd get about 20 odd orgs joining us. Mm-hmm. And MCCY, which is the Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth, amazing partners of ours, helped us promote it. And we got 78 people.
Wow.
78 different charities for this workshop. And so it just highlighted to us how much the sector is actually ready to embrace and learn. And I think that's a huge part, right? Of bringing them to the table so we can actually embed some of this learning.
Yes, the potential of data with the right support, well, I think is immense. I think this also goes beyond just efficiency. It's about equity as well. Would you say that using data responsibly can help tackle some of the deeper social divides?
Yeah, I think certainly, like I said, I think we all have a mission or purpose, as an organization, and that can be in the social sector. But I think in the social sector, for example, they sometimes do not have the tools or the resources to really understand what impact their programs are making, right? Because they have so many different tenets. Which of these is really working, making impact, where they should do more, where they should pull back, how are they really working in the service of their beneficiaries? So I think understanding all of that, helping the charities improve their operations, but then also helping them to understand the challenges that the digital age can help them navigate to continue to make meaningful difference is where data can come in, right? It's about understanding, okay, so I want to impact a group of 100 students, but obviously across the 100 students, the impact is not going to be the same. So to measure how you've made that impact, but then to look at the data and glean some insights on, like, what were the demographics of these 100 students which made the difference to the impact that you were able to make, right? And then going back and telling some of that as a story, right? Data only takes you, the quantitative approach only gets you so far, right? I mean, we're in the social sector. You also need the qualitative or the emotive connect to drive impact. So I think data can do both pieces.
Okay, I think that this program is really just wonderful, but doesn't just build technical skills, I hope, because I'm just thinking about how the impact can be more than just the training and how it can be more sustainable as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is our vision and our dream. It's just the beginning. We're really building on existing government initiatives, honestly. We're collaborating with, as I said, MCCY, which is the Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth, with NVPC, which is the National Volunteer and Philanthropy Center, and others, to extend it to more charities. And the goal of D4GX is to really have a broader influence on the sector, not just the 60 organizations, but the wider community. We want to foster a community center around data. So we really hope to create a ripple effect of positive change, right? Anyone who applies for this, even if they're not the 60 that are invited to the summit, will be a part of our data community. We are going to have webinars and events and learning journeys throughout the year and beyond, because this is not a one-year program. I mean, that it takes year-on-year effort to drive real change and to embed real change. But we want to invite the wider community to actually come with us on this learning journey and to join us in webinars, to join us at events that we do in our offices. But also, we just had the launch of the Foundry that the Majority Trust, another one of our partners, joined, right? We also understand that we can't do this alone, right? Bloomberg is very committed to the communities in which we live and work, but we also really believe in strong partnerships and collaboration with the government, with the charity sector, as I said, with local social sector partners, but also with our clients, right? We want to leverage on the expertise that is in the industry, right? Build on government programs and guidance, bring other players into this program through the mentorship, through sharing, and really create almost like a vision where data becomes the compelling part of the journey and story of social impact in Singapore.
Yes, indeed. Embedding a data-driven culture is key here. Now, Vandna, I want to know more about those charities that are involved. Any particular projects or use cases that stand out?
We have a couple of partners that we are working with very closely in Singapore. The Majority Trust is one partner. They just established the Foundry. As I said, that's where we launched D4GX last Tuesday. An amazing organization. They really have become a pillar of the social sector. They've launched a number of funds that help grassroots organizations, right, drive change. And they are focused on a number of different areas, whether it's mental health, it's migrant workers, etc. So they're really driving change in different areas of the community. And we fund actually a couple of their funds and partner with them. I think one of the things that we've learned that worked really well when we came on as their partner for the Scaffold Fund, which focuses on migrant workers, they were just launching it. We actually helped the charities that were applying for the grant with Bloomberg mentorship to actually frame their strategy, to bring their business proposals to a higher standard, or, to think differently, to innovate, to become more structured in the way they applied for the grant. And I think the charities, the feedback we got from the Majority Trust was, amazing, because they said the charities really learned through that process. So I think, some of these ideas of launching D4GX with the grant and the mentorship have been brewing. With Talent Trust, for example, again, another amazing organization in Singapore that really works with a lot of corporates to bring pro bono skills to the charity sector. So we worked with Talent Trust for many years, and a lot of our leaders in Singapore and our high potential talent go and work with Talent Trust with some of their charities and give like an hour every 2 weeks or an hour every month with other experts in the industry. And we've had our leaders come back and talk about how much they've learned, right? Because, you know, when you're in a corporate sector, you are so used to what you know, and you're so ready to provide solutions. When you go into the charity sector, you almost have to unlearn and take a step back and put yourself in their shoes, build empathy, learn, you know, what their challenges are.
That's right.
And then become a real, it really helps leaders develop strategic thinking. So we actually see it as a growth for our high potentials in terms of their leadership skills and their strategy skills. And some of these leaders have come back and recommended some of these charities to us, and we've onboarded them as Bloomberg partners. So it's really quite cyclical.
Yes, indeed. Listening to you talk about this initiative, I just think it's really great to know how tech can actually help solve real problems on the ground, as well as businesses, as you know. And before we wrap up, Vandna, what advice would you give to charities or social enterprises listening today who may want to better harness data in their own work?
I think there's a real tremendous opportunity for all of us, for the social sector to be open and willing and, you know, not really worry about the expertise, because that's what I think there's an opportunity for the corporate sector to come and share some of that. So I would just say, you know, get involved, start somewhere. It's a journey. We're all on this journey together to make Singapore, honestly, a philanthropic hub and to grow the social sector together. So, you know, if you are going to apply, please do. If you're not, please still reach out to us. And, you know, we will try and figure out how we can take you on this journey with us.
All right. Thank you very much, Vandna. She is Vandna Ramchandani, Regional Head of Corporate Philanthropy Asia Pacific at Bloomberg.
Thank you so much.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.